in the past, I think neighborhoods changed in cities because of urban decline. So most theories until the past decade were about a neighborhood like this would decline because it would become, as urban theorists said, it would become a center of pathology and deviance and gangs and criminal activity and theft and murder. And there was all kinds of racial implications of that. So as populations around North America, principally in the United States, suburbanized, that was the cause of urban decline. And I think in most U.S. cities, that's what happened. So places that survived like this were surviving out of the incredible hard work and effort and collective community spirit of their people. Now, two things that's really interesting about this one. One, if you look at the groups of people who are very committed to their place, one group that's obvious is immigrants. Immigrants come to a neighborhood, they become part of a neighborhood because their culture is in that neighborhood. And artists and bohemians who, whether that's an urban designer or a sculptor or a painter, who are somehow get inspired, right? Like the people who colonized Soho in New York City when it was just factories. Herbert Marchant told me when his first job was working for the Soho Manufacturers Council that was trying to keep the artists out of Soho. But I think now the challenge, and I think this neighborhood, from what I can see of it, survived because of the energy and collective spirit of its people. The bigger challenge now is how does a neighborhood like this survive in the wake of the opposite force, which is that central cities coming back, it's in high demand, the creative age requires people to live closer to where they work, more people are single or coupled, and this city is safe, so you can even have young kids. So the pressure on this real estate is enormous, and I think that's harder. I think it was probably easier to maintain this when Toronto wasn't the world-class city it is today. Right. I think this is going to be harder to maintain because those market forces are so powerful. And therein, I think, is a big tension. How much do you allow this neighborhood to organically evolve and development in light of market principles, and how much do you affect those principles without using, Jane Jacobs always wrote about the heavy hand of government planners destroying neighborhoods by clearing them. Well, the other way, maybe to hurt a neighborhood, is to put in the heavy hand of government to unreasonably protect them. Finding that balance is really difficult. I think that the thing that's really fabulous about Toronto is Toronto's a big place with a lot of neighborhoods. New York is a big place with a lot of neighborhoods, so as one neighborhood turns over, there's always another neighborhood that you can colonize. But I think maintaining that mix in the face of Toronto becoming a very, very upscale city. I think figuring out a way to protect this character in the face of that development pressure is a big issue going to confront this place. The other thing that's really interesting about this is the different scales at which it works, right? So back there, those are mainly kind of Victorian houses and even almost commercial buildings. Down here, you have a combination of old buildings and almost shacks. And it all works together. The other thing that's really interesting is lots of people, especially Americans, but lots of people around the world have gotten really convinced that their aesthetic has been shaped by this very homogeneous streetscape. So they like a place that has all of these upscale shops and manicured trees and baskets, and that's wonderful. But and that's nice. But they've kind of lost touch with this original kind of urbanity. And I think one of the coolest things about Toronto is that it has both.